We will continue the chapter. We ended with the male gametophyte and the female gametophyte. Now we'll start with pollination. Now we all know we saw the YouTube video, so it clearly ended till xenogamy. So we'll just take a quick recap of that. So pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. Okay, we know that. Now the next thing, main thing you have to remember is pollen grains are non-motile. First thing, they are non-motile and they are carried by external agents. We have to remember that they are non-motile and they are carried by external agents. So now pollination are broadly classified into two classes such as self-pollination, and the second one is cross-pollination. Self-pollination consists of two parts. One we can say is autogamy and the second one is gaetonomy. Now what is autogamy? When a bisexual flower is pollinated by its own pollen grains. Now what is a bisexual flower? A flower which have male and female both present in the same flower itself. When the flower consists of male and female part in a same flower, then it is called as a bisexual flower. Now that bisexual flower is pollinated by its own pollen grains. Now how will that happen? Okay, now you can see autogamy. Here I have drawn diagram. इसके अंदर यहाँ पर एंथर भी है एंड स्टिग्मा भी है, बट इन द सेम फ्लावर. एज आई सेड, इट इज़ अ bisexual flower, so it will contain the male and the female in the same flower. So therefore, when the anther and the stigma both are present in the same flower, the anther pollen grains will drop or fall in the same stigma which is present in the same flower, and this process is called as self-pollination, or we can say is autogamy. The best example of self-pollination or autogamy is pea. Now the next, gaetonomy. Gaetonomy is the transfer of pollen grain of different flower but of the same plant. यहाँ पर ट्रांसफर ऑफ पोलन ग्रेन्स जो है एक ही प्लांट में होगा. द थिंग विल बी, इट विल बी ऑफ two flowers of like second flower or the third flower which is present on the upside or the downside. Here I have drawn a diagram. You can see it is of same plant, but the flowers, the pollen grains are falling from the upper flower to the lower flower. The best example of gaetonomy is curbita. सेम फ्लावर होगा जब प्लांट, एक प्लांट के अंदर 2 से 3 फ्लावर्स प्रेजेंट है. सो द पोलन ग्रेन्स ऊपर के फ्लावर के जब नीचे फ्लावर पे आकर पॉलिनेशन होता है, देन दिस प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड एज gaetonomy. It also comes under self-pollination, and autogamy and gaetonomy does not produce genetically varied offspring. They are genetically same. They does not produce variation. So self-pollination of autogamy and gaetonomy offsprings are not genetically varied. They are genetically similar. Now the next, cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from one flower to another flower, but the thing is it is of different plant. Xenogamy का बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल ये रहता है कि उसके जो ऑफस्प्रिंग दे विल बी जेनेटिकली वेरीड. उसके अंदर क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन होता है. डिफरेंट फ्लावर्स का 2 फ्लावर्स इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया है. इसके एजेंट्स जनरली ये इसके लिए एजेंट्स लगते हैं. दे नीडेड एजेंट्स सच एज बर्ड्स, इंसेक्ट्स एक्सेट्रा, हनी बीज और समथिंग लाइक दैट. So in xenogamy, pollen grain transfer of pollen grains of one flower to another flower of the different plant. 2 flowers इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. सो उसके अंदर जो एजेंट्स इन्वॉल्व होते हैं वो बर्ड्स रहेंगे, इंसेक्ट्स, हनी बीज एक्सेट्रा, और इनके जो ऑफस्प्रिंग प्रोड्यूस होते हैं वो जेनेटिकली वेरीड होते हैं. Now pollinating agents. अब जो एजेंट्स हैं, एजेंट्स ऑफ पॉलिनेशन आर ब्रॉडली डिवाइडेड इनटू 2 classes such as abiotic agent and biotic agents. Now abiotic agents involve those are non-living agents जो अलाइव नहीं होते हैं, वो बायोटिक में आते हैं. बायोटिक एजेंट्स में वो जो लिविंग एजेंट्स होते हैं जैसे कि इंसेक्ट्स, बर्ड्स, जो लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स है वो बायोटिक एजेंट्स में आते हैं. नाउ एबायोटिक एजेंट्स, हम लोग को डिटेल में बायोटिक और एबायोटिक एजेंट्स के बारे में स्टडी करना है. So जो abiotic agents are, those involve different names such as anemophily, hydrophily, hypohydrophily, epihydrophily. Therefore these are called as abiotic agents. Now we'll study each one in detail. First of all, we'll start with pollination by wind. Wind is an abiotic agent जो alive नहीं है. Wind alive नहीं है, therefore we are calling it as abiotic agent. Pollination by wind, it is also called as anemophily. Pollination by wind agent is also called as anemophily. Best examples of anemophily are wheat, rice, corn, rye, etc. Palms are also included in that. Now, these plants which are pollinated by wind agents or anemophily have certain adaptations in them. So these adaptations are as follows. Flowers are small and colorless. It has no nectar. Nectar in the sense the power of attracting insects towards them. As we are saying it as non-living and abiotic agent, therefore it has no nectar. Then the next, pollen grains are lightweight. उनका जो वेट है बिल्कुल लाइट होता है. एंड द नेक्स्ट, द स्टिग्मा इज फेदरी टू ट्रैप द पोलन ग्रेन्स टुवर्ड्स देम for the pollination process. Therefore, the stigma is feathery to trap. Pollen grains are lightweight. They have no vector, as we said. It has abiotic agent, so no need of vector because nectar is required for pulling the or attracting insects towards them. And then the first flowers are small and they are colorless. Now the next abiotic agent is pollination by wind. We can also call it as hydrophily. Now hydro itself means water. Therefore, pollination by water is also called as hydrophily. It is found in 30 genera of aquatic monocots. It is found in 30 genera of aquatic monocots. The best examples are Vallisneria, Zostera, Ceratophyllum, etc. Pollination by wind or hydrophilies. Best examples are Vallisneria, Zostera, Ceratophyllum, etc. And pollination by water or hydrophily, plants which pollinates by water or hydrophily have some adaptations in it, and the adaptations are as follows. Flowers are small, floral parts are unwettable. Now it is unwettable due to the presence of mucilage. Mucilage एक ऐसा sticky substance होता है जिससे पानी या water उसके ऊपर ठहरता नहीं. That is called as mucilage. The presence of mucilage, therefore it is unwettable. The floral parts which is required for the pollination or the reproduction process are called as the floral parts, and they are unwettable due to the presence of mucilage, and it has no nectar as it is an abiotic agent of pollination. Therefore it requires no nectar, and nectar is required for attracting insects towards them. Now hydrophily itself is of two types. The first one is hypohydrophily and the second one is epihydrophily. We'll study what is hypohydrophily and what is epihydrophily. Now we came to hydrophily. Now hydrophily, I told, is of two types. The first one is hypohydrophily and the second one is epihydrophily. We will study each one in detail. Now epihydrophily. Epi means up. So epihydrophily, in the sense, it will be on the hydrophily means water agent is used in hydrophily. Therefore, the thing with hydrophily will be water. So epihydrophily, in the sense, on the surface, upside, the surface of the water, up level of the water will be considered in epihydrophily. The surface level, upside of the water, the process of pollination will take on the surface of the water. So what is epihydrophily? Pollen grains float on the water surface and reach the stigma of the flower. Now how does this take place? We'll see the diagram. This is the best example of Vallisneria, of the male and the female flower of Vallisneria, where epihydrophily takes place. You can see here, this is the water level, the surface of the level, and this is the plant of the Vallisneria. This is the male and that is the female plant. The male flower consists like this. These are the anthers which leads to the surface of the water level. Now that is the female flower. The female flower comes to the surface of the water, and the male flower anther, the pollen grains, come towards the level, the female flower, by the level of the surface of the water, and here the pollination takes place. The anther travels to the surface of the level and the female flower is present on the surface of the water, and this is how the process of pollination takes place in epihydrophyte. Pollen grains float on the surface of the water and reach the stigma of the flower. Best example of epihydrophily is Vallisneria. Now the next, hypohydrophily. Hypohydrophily, in the sense, it is below the surface water. Pollination occurs below the surface water. Epi means up and hypo is below the surface water. Pollen grains occur below the surface water. That means pollen grains will be inside the water. Pollen grains are heavier and hence they sink inside the water and caught by the stigmas, and therefore the process of pollination takes place. The best example is Zostera or seagrass. Now, In epihydrophily, the pollen grains float on the surface of the water. That means the pollen grains float on the water and they have specific gravity equal to the water level. They float on the water, okay? All the pollen grains are not like that, it doesn't flow on the surface level. That is because only in epihydrophily the pollen grains of Vallisneria have specific gravity that is as same of the water level, therefore they float on the surface of the water. In hypohydrophily, the pollen grains are not having the specific gravity as same of the water. The pollen grains are heavier than the water. That means they have gravity which is heavier than the water.